Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the CanadianGameDevs.com podcast, episode number 148. This is a weekly show covering all the games made in Canada and the people who create them. My name's Steven. It's spelled with a PH and an A. So you'd think it was Stefan, but it's actually Steven, named after my godfather. Shout out to Steve.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Shout out to the other Steve, the other main dude behind CanadianGameDevs.com, who spelled the PH and an E, but we say Steve.
Yep.
To avoid confusion. And I think it's working for us so far.
So your godfather got to be godfather and like the reason for your name?
Yeah, well, the reason for my name was in the maternity ward that night I was born. They wanted to call me Nicholas, but there were like 8 other Nicholases, and they were like, oh, well, no. It's like when you can't order the same food at a restaurant that someone else ordered.
Yeah, I hear that.
So they went with Steve after my godfather, but they spelt it weird.
I must say, I think I've mentioned this before. When I had to write down the name of my daughter, like when she was born, it was one of the most stressful moments of my life. I had tripled guessed how to spell everything. I was like, wait, Crane, what's my last name? C or is it K? I can't remember.
But wait, if you misspell your own last name, like they gotta fix that for you can just scratch it out and put a new one above it, right? Because it has to be your last name.
I would think so. But I don't know. It seemed like such a super important moment and such a really stupid way to do it. Because it's literally like a Post-it note that they give you. They're just like, here, just write it down on this piece of paper.
A Post-it note?
Pretty much. It's just this. It's literally just a tiny little piece of paper. It's not like it's not like a quote unquote contract. It wasn't a full size piece of paper.
It wasn't like a license, like a marriage license or something.
It was smaller than that.
Interesting.
It was probably it probably wasn't too much bigger than a Post-it note that I had to write her name out and be like, this is what her birth certificate will say. I was like, oh god.
Sharpie or pencil?
I think pen. Yeah.
So the risky middle ground.
I mean, really, like if I messed it up, we would just change the birth certificate. But I don't want to go through all that.
And as a great man once said, Steve, what's in a name?
Who said that?
I think that's a Shakespeare quote.
Oh, is it?
Anyway, for those who don't know, CanadianGameDevs.com is supported by our amazing, beautiful, gorgeous patrons over at patreon.com/CanadianGameDevs, where backing us gets you 2-day special early access to this podcast via an RSS feed we deliver to you. As well as as well as a special channel on our Discord, shoutouts at the end of every episode, occasional game key giveaways, and the knowledge that you're helping us keep the lights on, covering the Canadian game dev scene. And isn't that knowledge what's really worth it at the end of the day?
I think so.
I think so too. Let's start with a couple events. You got one. We just recently got a scoop and a special Patreon-only discount code for...
That's right. VRTO. So it looks like VRTO is actually going on like pretty much all month, like all of June and a little bit into July.
Wait, do you mean July into August? Because like we're at the end of June.
No, I know, that's what I mean. I guess it was, we might have missed it. Like it says from June 6th to July 6th.
Huh. Okay. So you can get into some last minute talks.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go to, what's the website here? I mean, if you Google, it's conference.virtualreality.to, but if you just Google VRTO, it's a conference that's kind of centered around virtual reality, and some of the people that have talked now, I don't know again if these have happened, but there's someone there from Stanford University, Contentful Images and Sound, someone from the Marvel's Avengers team, which is interesting because I don't think that's a VR game. But
they did that Spider-Man VR experience. Was that them or someone else?
Maybe, I don't know. Well, actually, it just says Digital Domain, which is not. It just says Marvel Avengers, so I'm not sure. Ford Motors, Voices of VR, Fourth Wall, another school. So there's quite a few people. Some game dev related, some education related. That's the other thing. Like this VRTO is not just like a video game virtual reality thing. It's like virtual reality across multiple disciplines and stuff like that. So,
but if you're interested in VR as a game developer, definitely lots to learn there.
I would think so. So it is a paid conference, even though it's all virtual. So there's 3 different tiers. But if you are a patron, I just posted a demo or a coupon code in the Discord only channel that Steven already mentioned. So you can get it there. So VRTO, just Google that. It'll take you to the right place.
Excellent. And then 2 fall events that we are plugging. Game Dev Atlantic is a single day online conference held usually here on the East Coast, but now that it's online, I guess you can tune in from anywhere. It's from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Atlantic, which is 1 hour ahead of Eastern, 4 hours ahead of Pacific. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great talks. I went last year, had a great time. I will be attending virtually this year, and I hope you do too. That's September 18th and you can find out all that information. You just search Game Dev Atlantic. They got a site and a Facebook group. And then the day after, Game Devs of Color Expo is happening on September 19th. That's a Saturday, I believe. And they are still looking for people to submit like talks and stuff. So if you are a game dev of color or want to learn from some game devs of color, definitely check out Game Devs of Color Expo, September 19th. Yeah. If you got any other events you want us to plug, we have region-specific channels in our Discord, as well as people who can tag us on Twitter. Just email us about your event, and we'll talk about it.
I know we chirped GDC because it was going to be.
They were trying to sell tickets again for August.
Yeah, but it looks like now they're back to being all digital.
Yeah, Gamescom went all digital this year too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw Tokyo Game Show is going to be all digital. I mean, everything's going to be all digital this year. Like, just accept that.
Yeah, don't go.
I wonder like
people.
Because the Video Game Awards is probably one of the last things that happens in the year, right? At least.
Yeah, usually second or third week of December.
Yeah, so I wonder if that will be all digital.
I mean, the stadium's already half empty anyway, so.
Yeah.
Like, why not just do it digitally?
Exactly. So.
There's no point to like the in-person thing other than I guess you couldn't do the orchestra, and I actually really do like the one year they did like they mixed the main themes from all the games nominated for Game of the Year together in like this big symphony, which is probably the coolest part of the show for me.
They had some band play like the Doom song as well.
Yeah, they had the Doom guy come in, and then last year they had Green Day for the Beat Saber Green Day pack, and it was awful. I'm so sorry.
I don't remember that.
Exactly. That's why you don't remember.
There's a Green Day Beat Saber pack?
Yeah, there's Green Day, Imagine Dragons, Monster Cat, Rocket League pack.
They're so weird with their DLC.
They are. I mean,
I know on PC.
The Imagine Dragons songs don't even work very well because Beat Saber is a lot of beat heavy music. Like it's like not dubstep, but it's like a lot of electronic music.
Yeah.
And Green Day and Imagine Dragons are like pop guitar-y music.
Yeah, Monster Cat, X Rocket League, Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, the Rocket League songs work. That's the best pack. If you're gonna get one of them, get that one.
I don't think because I feel like I only played the Monster Cat Volume 1 before I stopped playing the game. So.
And even then, those are more electronic music. Like those work very well, but Imagine Dragons and Green Day don't really work in my opinion. Yeah. But then of course the mods on PC have done a whole bunch where like it's like someone did the entire script of Shrek you can play in Beat Saber, or like the best one I've ever seen is Mr. Blue Sky, and like the skybox is like a big bright blue sky. Like that just sounds fun and like recreation, like just a good time to unwind.
That's a Shrek. I love that. Beat Saber is one of the best VR games, by the way. You should.
It is the best VR. It's the best VR game currently available. It's the Wii Sports for VR.
The one I always wanted to play was the Blood and Truth or whatever. I always wanted to try that.
Yeah, like the London Heist developers just kind of made that into a whole game.
Yeah, I always wanted to play that one, but I never got a chance to, and now I don't have the VR. So.
And you don't even know if they'll do a PSVR 2 on PS5. Remains to be seen.
I know. All we know is that PSVR will work on PS5. That's literally all we know. Although I think there is a PSVR PS5 game announced.
Interesting.
I feel like you keep going. Let me look into this.
Okay. Well, Steve investigates. We have several jobs up on the site. If you want to go to CanadianGameDevs.com/jobs. We also have people sharing jobs in our Discord, which you should join, and a lot of discussion this week around jobs. I was interested in this one Blizzard recruiter's tweet that was getting. There was a discussion around it. It also blew up on Twitter, so I don't. People have probably seen it by this point. But let me just pull it up. It was this HR recruiter who was talking about like the one question they ask at every interview.
If they code at home or whatever.
Yeah. So this is from Bob Fitch, who's been interviewing for Blizzard, like doing interviews for them for over 30 years. He says, "I've asked this in every interview at Blizzard for the last 30 years. What do you program at home? Many answered they don't have time. Wrong. Program at home every day. If you don't have that passion, program isn't really for you. Write small games, do game jams. # game jobs." And this is a pretty toxic mindset, I think. And the quoted retweet here was, "This question is designed to weed out potential employees that would refuse to engage in crunch," by Puggle Deluxe on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I would tend to agree with that. And the easy joke everyone started making and I made immediately was like, oh, you don't make cheeseburgers at home too? I don't think you'd be a good fit here at Burger King. If you're not making burgers at home for your family, for your pets, it's just you don't have the passion here.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. To play a little bit of devil's advocate, I can understand what he's trying to get at. He wants to get like passionate people who want to like kind of learn and get better and develop and stuff like that. But just because you don't like program or whatever, like just because you don't like do some learning at home and don't have time, like doesn't mean you wouldn't do well during your 9 to 5 role. Like you can learn during your 9 to 5 role as well. And I've countless times, like every job I've had, I'll take an hour or 2 or 3 hours a week and just like kind of, fuck off somewhere and just kind of like try to learn a little bit, because home time is your home time. Like if you want to learn, that's cool. But if you don't want to or don't have the time because of kids or family or parent, like you're taking care of parents, like it's such a ridiculous statement. When I read that, I was like, oh my God, you guys are what a shitty view. It's just
I think the best takedown of it I saw was from Dana Freed at Left Oblique on Twitter, and they said, this question is designed as a test to weed out potential employees who have children to take care of, who are responsible for housework, who care for elders in their family, who have hobbies outside of work, etc. It's a clever way to only hire young, white, asocial men from upper middle class backgrounds that already makes up a huge portion of developers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it like some people can't, like some people when they're done work go home and don't have the luxury of like relaxing or doing what they want. They have to like work a second job because they just have like don't have a proper structure to like only work one job, or they have like family and old parents or grandparents to like take care of, or they have like kids and they're the only source of income or whatever. Like there's various different ways. It's so ridiculous. I hope, I mean, we've had a lot of like things from BioWare that kind of suggests they're sort of like, quote unquote BioWare magic and all this shit. And if that's like their HR, like 30 years doing hiring for BioWare, like, oh man, that's such a toxic, shitty attitude to have towards hiring for any like field whatsoever.
Yeah, that's why the comparison was being made. And then someone tweeted with like, oh, you're not a doctor outside of home? You should be practicing surgery on your kids, your relatives. You just don't really have a passion for surgery if you're not doing it all the time.
At the very least, playing Trauma Center on Wii and just getting better.
Yeah, playing a surgeon simulator in VR.
Yeah.
You friggin' fake doctor. You don't have the drive it takes to do well here.
Oh man, yeah, I was so disappointing to read because it's just like what do you, like you've been what makes it really, really terrible, in my opinion, too, is that dude, I think it was a dude, that person's been hiring, has been there for 30 years. That's not just someone who's like been there for like 2 years or something like that. Like how many people have they turned down in the last 3 decades? Because someone was like, I come from my father's sick. I got to go home and take care of my father. And then just like, like, fuck, it was brutal.
Yeah. All that to say, I'm pretty comfortable saying that I think a lot of the jobs offered on CanadianGameDevs.com/jobs will not be that toxic and seem to be a lot more open to people of different backgrounds.
Yeah, the best thing that tweet did is go viral because it shows just how ridiculous that kind of thing is. And I would think BioWare would have trouble hiring anyways because they're in Edmonton and like.
Oh, you mean Blizzard?
Sorry, Blizzard. Oh, yeah. Right. Sorry, it was Blizzard. Okay. It was BioWare. I thought it was BioWare.
It was Blizzard. Yeah.
My bad.
Santa Monica, I think, is where they're at.
Then never mind. They don't have an issue. They can weed out people all they want. So never
mind. Did you find out if there's a PS5 VR game confirmed?
No, because you know what? I was listening to Colin's podcast and he wrote. What am I trying to say here? He read some story about a developer basically like saying that, we're a VR game and we're releasing on PlayStation, but it's not going to be on PlayStation 4. And it was just like, that means PlayStation 5. But I can't find the game, so I don't know. So just ignore I said anything.
Okay. Let's move on to the news, Steve. I got 6 stories to plug for you this week. first up, JRPG inspired Emergent Fates is coming out to iOS July 7th. Toronto-based developer Mega Femoral, like ephemeral, but Mega Femoral, I like that, announced that their upcoming JRPG-inspired game is available for pre-order now on iOS and will be releasing free to start on July 7th. And then after that, it's $5.99 US to unlock the full game. I'll read the little boiler here. Emergent Fates is a Japanese-inspired RPG about finding identity and purpose in a world where your fate has already been decided. Personable characters and a rich world history, as well as fully realized storyline, are combined with beautiful watercolored 2D graphics for an artistic and narrative experience. This looks very nice.
It does.
I will say, looking at these screenshots.
We got codes as well, so
stay tuned for impressions next week.
Yeah, so next week we'll get our impressions. I'm excited to dive into this. So yeah, it's out July 6th, I think.
7th. That's next Tuesday.
And they say no ads, no microtransactions once you make the full purchase. So I am very excited for this. I love JRPGs. I love the art style of this. I'm guessing it's almost like this game looks too good to just be on iOS. So I assume it will like kind of come to Steam and stuff later on. But yeah, I'm stoked for this.
Excellent. Next up, Sabotage Studio released a new trailer for their hit record-breaking Kickstarter game Sea of Stars. They announced this during the Day of the Devs Summer Game Fest big stream that the Game Awards is doing.
I can't keep up with all these different things.
It's too much, man. It's too much. This, of course, set the record for the best Canadian video game Kickstarter ever, raising 1.6 million US. The trailer has some of more environmental and moving behind waterfalls. This one, I'm just watching it now. I haven't actually seen it. The first trailer I saw was mainly about the combat and like how you do like the two, because you're playing as two characters at the same time. There's Valerie and Zale. They represent the moon and the sun. No, we got introduced to Carl, the warrior cook. Every good JRPG, Steve, needs a warrior cook. They bleeped out he has like a text line and it says, "Are you ready for?" And then it's like square bracket spoilers square bracket.
Oh.
So that's funny. I think that's just they did this for the trailer. I don't think they would do that in the actual game.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. Although it's a 2022 game, right? So
and even then, like, you know, they'll obviously delay it if they need to.
Do we know any other like confirmed 2022 games? Like,
you know what's been my favorite Wikipedia page for this? If you just search like blank year in gaming, so I'll search 2022 in gaming. The top hit is always the Wikipedia page, and then you can go by year. So if I go to 2022, Wikipedia does not have any yet. All right, so Sea of Stars should be on here. I can fix that.
So we got a.
But yeah, 2021 already has a list of like 100 games. Oh, 2022 is at the bottom of 2021. So currently on the Wikipedia page, there's Sea of Stars, releasing unknown 2022, and Pragmata, which is that game from the PS5 reveal that we thought was Death Stranding, but wasn't. And it's like the guy with the see-through cat and the little girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that they actually.
And then he like launches at the spaceship and like catches it in a net.
Yeah, that's actually confirmed 2022.
So those are the only two confirmed 2022 games that I'm looking at right now. Obviously, there could be a couple more, and Wikipedia obviously needs to get updated.
Well, because
that's my favorite site if you're ever wondering.
Because usually it's like it'll just say TBA, right? So like you know, Legend of Zelda 2 or whatever, Breath of the Wild 2 might be 2022, and all these. Oh, there's Earthworm. They're making an Earthworm Jim 4. Sorry, Diablo 4 might be 2022. Overwatch, Metro Prime 4, Overwatch 2. Like a lot of these games might be 2022, but they usually just say TBA until they're kind of ready. So there's only.
I like to think that this studio Sabotage in Quebec, having released like a very well received game and having a lot of capital now to play with, that saying 2022 means they have a laid out project management timeline of what they confidently believe they can hit for like assets, alpha, beta testing, and release. So I think showing like a 2022 release date is not only trying to keep themselves accountable to their own project timeline, which I think means that they have a good project manager on this, but I think also and also of course you put the pressure on yourself then anytime you do a release date, which is why most people don't. But I think that's part of the reason they would say a date at all.
Yeah, true.
Also Kickstarter, you need to, I think, have like a quote unquote delivery date
Oh yeah,
for
that's
all
right.
for everything.
No, you're right. Although you just need to say a date. It's not really like the release date. You're just saying this will be delivered by whatever date, right?
Yeah. Kickstarters who backed it this tier get a digital code now.
Yeah. I just learned so much things. So Earthworm Jim 4 is a game that was announced in 2008
Jeez.
and just sort of vaporware really. And then in May 2018 it was announced that the game would begin development exclusively for the upcoming Intellivision Amico console, which I didn't even know was a thing.
They did like one of those. It's not like a mini. Like they're actually making a new Atari that has like you can do like Netflix apps and stuff on it. Like it's weird.
Well, apparently Earthworm Jim will be an Echo the Dolphin. Why are they bringing all these Sega Genesis games to this fucking console?
Was Echo never on an Atari?
Echo the Dolphin I know as a Sega Genesis game. I don't know if it came to other things.
That's all old shit. It can just be the same.
All these things will just release to Steam eventually. It's like when what was the game?
Towerfall came to Ouya.
Yeah, exactly.
It did well on Ouya though. Like that was like Ouya was a big Kickstarter hit, and pretty much everyone who got Ouya at launch probably got Towerfall.
Oh my god, Kung Fu Master, is that like? I feel like I'm just looking at my childhood games here, all coming in television. Is this like the original Kung Fu Master?
Time is a flat circle, Steve.
I know. I'm kind of. Oh man! Oh my god!
Okay, Steve, rein it in. You can build the Sega collection and your new Intellivision collection in your new big man cave.
I'm sorry, I'm just getting hit with a lot of like nostalgia right here. So we can keep going. Sea of Stars, I'm very excited for. Can't wait for that game.
Speaking of platform exclusive games coming out elsewhere, Discord exclusive game King of the Hat from Montreal based. Great studio name, Business Corp Incorporated, is releasing later this year on Steam. Is a chunky party game where you play pixelated characters who throw their hats at each other, jump on your friend's hat to win, and protect yours at all cost. So it's a very vertical game where like you kill the other player by landing on their hat, but you can throw your hat out to like stun people, and it's very risky because if I think if it hits someone, it comes back to you.
Didn't
and if
Nintendo
it doesn't,
make that game already?
Maybe I don't.
Well,
I can't think of another game like it.
Well, Mario Odyssey, you threw the hat.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Oh, but I see what you're saying. Okay, this is like a 2D. This is almost like this is like Towerfall, almost like the fighting.
Kind of, yeah. It's that single static screen,
Yeah.
arcadey action competitive game.
Now, weren't we just
played
talking
it.
about how Discord, like we didn't realize Discord was still a platform for releases?
Yeah, a couple Canadian games last year, which we streamed, also from Quebec developer, is now coming out elsewhere and doing well. I think Discord tried to do what Twitch and everyone did, just getting on their own, and they've been really trying to push the integration where like you can stream straight through to Discord from whatever game you're playing, and most recently the first game I've seen do it is Valorant, where if you're playing Valorant on your computer and Discord's open, you press just like Alt something and then Discord opens in Valorant like in the top left, and you can like easily do stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So they've been working on integrating with games, and I guess for them it made sense to have games on their platform, and if they were popular, then more people would get on Discord.
So I'm gonna wait. I'm looking ahead on the script here, and I don't see it on here. So you can play this out. I'm gonna wishlist King of the Hat.
He's gonna wishlist King of the Hat. We should play this game. It has I think it'll support Steam's like co-op mode, where like if you're both on the internet, you can play like a usually co-op or like competitive couch game just over the internet.
Right. Now
we could try that.
Steam says it's coming in 2020, so it's not going to be a Discord exclusive for very long. Is it out on Discord right now?
It was already out on Discord, yeah. And Discord like shuttered their store, so this is, I forget when the store closed, but
oh, I see. Sorry, I was confused at the story. I thought it is Discord exclusive. It's now coming.
Yeah,
to Steam.
and it's coming to Steam.
I see.
Discord said they would be closing the catalog on October 15th, 2019. So I think the store is closed.
There is a oh shoot, I don't want to download right now. It checks my internet. But there is a demo for King of the Hat as well. So
it's good. I like it. I recommend it.
So
I'll be picking it up regardless. I played it at EGLX like 2 years ago or a year ago.
Sure.
It's good. It's really good.
By the way, we should give a shout out because if you've been wishlisting along with us, like I have, you will get an email that basically says 50 games are on sale right now.
And if you've been waiting to get any of these Canadian games,
yeah. So I have to go through the list to see if there's anything I want to kind of cop out. I think it was literally like you have 51 titles on your wish list that are on sale, and I was like, cool.
That tracks. Next little bit, Steve. Probably I'm gonna put a wager on hypest news of the week for Steve. The first gameplay of Rogue Legacy 2 and a release date this week, of course, from Toronto-based Cellar Door Games. We talked about the brief, 2-second GIF teaser we saw before, as well as some concept art. But now we have seen a legit gameplay trailer and the announcement that is coming to early access on Steam and Epic July 23rd.
That's so soon. That
is so soon. That's less than a month.
Like when they first announced this and showed nothing, I was like, oh man, this might be a ways out. Even though, because it's been a while since their last game. But, this is awesome. Like Rogue Legacy 2 or Rogue Legacy was such a fucking great game. It's not coming to Vita though. A little disappointing. Not surprising.
Not yet. Never say never. They just announced a Beat Shakedown Hawaii or whatever is coming to Wii and Wii U this week.
What? Wait, what?
Yep. Yeah, it's like a classic retro top-down beat-em-up game. And they're...
Beat what?
Just search new Wii U game announced. I forget the actual name of the game, but it's coming out, I think, later this year. And they might even be doing physical copies, too.
Well, because I don't think you can buy digital games on the Wii anymore.
It's Shakedown Hawaii, coming to Wii, Wii U, and Steam.
What?
Developed... Both versions will support 4x3 CRT televisions.
Oh my god.
It's coming out July 9th for $29.99, and having physical copies too.
That's amazing. Is it already out on other things?
Maybe. I can't confirm nor deny. I don't know.
Because you can't. I think the Wii store is down. I don't think you can buy.
They discontinued a lot of the apps, but you can still get on there, I think.
I don't think so. I may be wrong. I think. Oh, Shakedown Hawaii. This is a Canadian game.
Oh, really? We should have covered this then.
Steven,
all right, happy accident. Check out Shakedown Hawaii on Wii and Wii U.
I'm more than certain. Hold on. Let me, because I think it's.
Let's double check. Yeah,
it's the Retro City Ransom guy, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, V Blank Entertainment.
Shakedown Hawaii.
I'm pretty sure he's in. I'm pretty sure this is he's in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Let's see. The Twitter account says Vancouver, BC. There you go.
Scoop. Rate it up.
Scoop.
Number 4, Shakedown Hawaii is coming to Wii and Wii U.
But back to Rogue Legacy, Steve. I know you added to your wish list when we first talked about it being revealed and they had the Steam page up. Mm-hmm. But will you also wish list it on Epic?
Oh yeah, sure.
Excellent.
I haven't opened Epic in a while. I don't even know. I think since GTA 5 was free was the last time I.
Oh, but you're missing all the free games every week.
I know, but we discussed this. I don't download or play any of these free games. I got 1,700 games from Itch.io 2 weeks ago. And
you did.
I played none of them.
But Steve, then you have the Epic account you can hand off to your daughter and be like, hey, I every week I added this game to my account just for you.
Well, she gets the PSN trophies when I die. Mm-hmm. So that's really my legacy. And $1 million from insurance, but really it's the PlayStation trophies.
Isn't the $1 million if something fishy happens? No. If you just die of natural causes, nothing happens, right?
No. It's life insurance. I just had to die. It's actually sorry. It's not $1 million. It's slightly above $500,000. If Heather and I both die, basically Heather and I have both $500,000 life insurance policy on us. Unless we commit suicide in the next 2 years, she won't get anything. But otherwise. Mm-hmm. Sophia is a bad car accident away from becoming a millionaire. So,
is that taxable?
No, it's not taxable. You just straight up get the money. So when my dad died, he had an insurance policy as well, and it just all went to my mom, and you got to pay. You usually get they have a way to calculate it because it's basically calculated so that Heather doesn't if I die, Heather doesn't have to work for 5 years or something like that to give time for Sophia to grow up and whatnot. So because $500,000, if we get $500,000 at our age, it's not enough to retire on.
Yeah.
But they kind of calculate by saying like for the next 5 years you're covered. You don't have to pay. You don't have to worry about any bills. You don't have to worry about working. Like you just kind of focus on that stuff. So that's where it kind of.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah. It's being responsible. So anyway, so she would get that and my trophy collection. So she's like,
She's set.
She's set. Not to be Debbie Downer here, but.
All right, last 2 bits of news I want to cover this week. A Summer with Shiba Inu, the not text adventure, it's visual novel.
Visual novel, yeah.
Developed by Toronto Studio. It's out now on consoles. It's on Nintendo Switch and PS4 and Xbox One. So you should check that out.
Let me check.
It's also on sale on Steam. What are the trophies, Steve? I don't know,
but it's published by. I think I mentioned this. It's published by a company that basically just dishes out like free platinum. So I'm assuming.
Does that mean you're gonna get it?
I want to get it regardless because I want to help out Canadian game devs. That's what we're all about. If I can get an easy platinum, in the meantime, it has a 90.
That's gravy.
The platinum has a 96 average on PSN profiles. So
it's $9.99 US.
I'm gonna buy it right now.
Yeah, do it. Oh, buying right now. Ding, ding. Winner. Gagne.
Play the thing.
I'll play the thing. Right. And last bit of news this week, Steve. I don't think anyone saw it coming. Vancouver-based indie studio Clay Entertainment, Clay Like Play, has announced they are partnering with Tencent to develop a Don't Starve mobile game called New Home. It's a new mobile game, not previously like their ports of Don't Starve, which have come to mobile. It's a totally new game coming to mobile, developed by ShengQ and Tencent, so not developed by Clay. But Clay has stated that, quote, New Home will be a bit different than the traditional Don't Starve experience. There's a closed beta that you can sign up for right now, available only to those who live in the US and Canada, and it will begin sometime mid-July. So check that out. Currently, there's only a cinematic trailer. There's no gameplay yet, so I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm seeing some screenshots here that make it look kind of like the normal Don't Starve gameplay, but they said it's different, so it'll probably not be like the survival type thing. It might be more of like a narrative-driven adventure, maybe.
Interesting.
Everything has health bars now. That's new, and there's like a big. Yeah. I think it's like quest-based is what I'm seeing from these screenshots. Is what I would say without having seen any gameplay trailer, but.
Yeah. Did you like Don't Starve? Did you play Don't Starve?
I played Don't Starve a lot with my dad. Actually, it was one of the few games we both sat down and like he liked games where we could like work on a strategy together.
Yeah, is that the Don't Starve together, or did you just take turns or whatever?
We never even took turns. He would just like sit with me on the couch while I played, and we would like try and see how long we could survive. And in that respect, I really really like Don't Starve, and it's a really special game to me that way. I've played a lot of it. I think our record was like 39 days maybe. We never did terribly well. Like you see those people who get to like 200 or 300 days.
Yeah.
Because it gets really hard. We never got to the end game either, where you try to craft like the door to go find the guy and get out. Like there is a way to like win.
Oh, is there?
So we never did that. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Kind of like Minecraft, there's like you can get to the Nether realm and kill the dragon and win or whatever.
Yeah.
But we never did that. But we did have a lot of fun with it, building our doors and making our farms and crafting a little village area that we could explore out from. And it's gorgeous too. Like I love the scratchy art style and the way that you flip the world like 45 degrees at a time, so you can see things from a different perspective. But everything's like 2D. It's almost kind of like those like shadow shows where it's like everything's up on like popsicle sticks and they're like sort of 2D cut out from like construction paper. It's kind of like it felt kind of like that every time like you flip the perspective. I really liked it.
I know it. Like I played it when it first came out on PS4, like a long time ago, like in the first year of the PS4. And I could never get into it. Like I mentioned a couple times, though, I'm not like really into the roguelite stuff when it's like you don't level up or whatever. You don't like all you.
Yeah, really and this better. One you just get new characters with like a special ability.
Yeah, and I didn't even like make it that far. I played it like 2 or 3 times, made it to like 2 or 3 days each time, and then I was just like, eh. And they've kind of, I don't want to say milking because that's not the word I'm trying to find, but they keep like going back to this game because they've gotten a lot of expansions and stuff with it. Like
Don't Starve Together co-op. I've played a bit with friends. They did the Shipwrecked.
Yeah,
was
Shipwrecked
really
was
too.
With Capybara, I think.
Pirates. Was it? That's cool.
I remember there was one that was with Capybara, because I wrote about it when it was still TorontoGameDevs.com.
Huh.
By the way, I did just buy a summer with Shiba Inu, and I'll stream it.
Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu? I should probably...
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And I'll stream it to on Twitch.
Twitch.tv/CanGameDevs.
Which we'll throw up on YouTube.
Yes, I spent most of this morning downloading all our past streams, and it's a hefty file on my desktop now. I'm going to crop together with their new graphics and put up there for everyone.
GameDevs.com.
Yeah, if you want to hang out this week with us, past live streams playing through games, you can do that.
So there's Don't Starve, Mega Pack, Reign of Giants, Together, Giant Edition, Shipwrecked, Pocket Edition, and Hamlet are the on Wikipedia versions. So they've really
it's probably their biggest game. It has to be.
I imagine so.
I remember their booth at PAX 2016 when I went. They actually remade the floor of their booth in the game, and they had the props everywhere and the gnarled trees. It was sick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So this is their big game, and I think the thing I respect most about Clay is how all their games are so different. There's a visually and mechanically. Don't Starve is a roguelite, sort of survival game. Mark of the Ninja is a 2D stealth platformer. Oxygen Not Included, which just came out of early access, is kind of a base building cooperative game. I'm missing a couple, but Shank. Oh, that's more another 2D action game, I think. But Hot Lava is a first person
VR too, I think, right?
I don't know if it's sports VR. I don't think so. It came to Apple Arcade, but I would recommend playing it on PC because
I thought it was a VR or
it's on iOS, Mac, and Windows.
Maybe I'm just thinking it uses AR on the phone.
I don't even think it does that. Not sure.
Doesn't it? I might be wrong.
It's at a 9 out of 10 on Steam. Very well. And it's 40% off because everything's on sale for the Steam sale.
Hey, there you go.
All right. That's it for the news this week. Steve, of course, you can find all these and more stories we report on CanadianGameDevs.com. And we post them in our Discord and tweet them and put them on Facebook. So follow us everywhere.
Including the Shakedown Hawaii, which we got to...
Yeah, we got to write up.
We got to write up now.
Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the week, Wishlist This, inspired by Steve and Brett's, rest in peace, frequent wishlisting of games while we talked about them. Each week, I highlight 3 upcoming Canadian-made games that Steve has to add to his wish list right now. Of course, we are all, as developers, beholden to Gaben and the Steam algorithm, and now Epic, I guess. So we don't have a pet name for, what's the Epic guy? Tim Sweeney?
Yeah.
Sweenan? I don't know. There's got to be a good pet name for him soon. But the algorithm controls all, and having a lot of wish lists helps you get further up on the algorithm as a developer, and we want to help out the Canadian developers. So this week, Steve, game number 1, I want you to add to your wish list, My Train World, published by Double Blit Games in Edmonton, Alberta. Take playing with toy trains into the virtual world with My Train World. Master a variety of puzzles at different difficulty levels in puzzle mode. Let your imagination flow in Sandbox Mode and build the train set of your dreams. Steve, little known fact, I had oodles, bins, Rubbermaid containers full of Thomas the Tank Engine playsets as a child. It was my favorite thing to do as a kid. Really? This looks like just that, but digitally.
Yeah, it is the toy trains. You're not making it's not a realistic looking game. It's it's the toys or whatever, which is really cool and charming. This makes me giggle. Actually, I like this.
Planned release date late 2020, and a very sparse Steam description, but there's still time. And I have to ask Steve, is it on your wish list?
It is. Yes.
Excellent. Do you have any quick thoughts on the Steam page as you're looking at this trailer, maybe?
No, I never really got into trains or making train sets or anything like that. So I don't have the nostalgia kid stuff for it. But it looks smooth. It looks solid. I actually have a game like this on Switch because it was literally a penny. You know how sometimes there would be games on Switch that sell for 1 to 5 cents, and I just use my Nintendo coins towards them.
Shovelware.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, it was well, the art looks pretty decent, so I'll at least give it a try. So I forget the name of the game. I haven't even played it yet. But this, I like the colors. It's bright. I like that they went with the kid, style. I think it's good. The sandbox mode looks pretty legit. I'm looking at one of the screenshots. So there seems to be quite a bit of customization, which I'm getting the vibe of, easy to play, hard to master sort of thing. I'm wondering what you do, like what
In the
your
puzzle mode,
yeah, like I guess what's the like the
I
mission?
feel like the puzzle is you have a certain, like, it looks to me like some of the track pieces are locked, and you have a certain number of pieces to make like a route work that you need to like drop stuff off.
I hope there's like a mode where it's like, yeah, okay, I see that what you're saying. I hope there's a mode sort of like a roller coaster tycoon where you can just kind of make like a really dope track.
I think that'll be the sandbox mode.
Yeah, so that'd be sweet.
And it looks like as you complete the puzzles, you unlock pieces you can use in the sandbox mode,
I
like
it.
different Steam engines.
Oh,
and
let your imagination flow in the sandbox mode and build the train set of your dreams. Create your own interactive railroad layout. Decorate your world and ride your trains within your very own layout. Layout is playable and fully interactive from the start.
this is like, every time Ned Flanders calls Reverend Lovejoy and he's in the basement playing trains.
Yeah.
This is senior Reverend Lovejoy when his kids get him a gaming computer, and he's just playing this.
There is a demo as well, so give it a shot.
Definitely.
Also, I have a big ass banner on my Steam that says save an additional $6 on a purchase $35 or more. So,
you can buy $35 worth of games for $29, and they're already on sale.
Yeah, so
amazing.
I have to let me actually look up my wish list because I want to.
Are we gonna get 2 Winter Gagnes in one episode?
No. So okay, so I was a little. I got an email that said 11 games were on sale, and then another email said 2 games were on sale. So, and I have like 85 games, so almost like 1 in 7, almost, or 1 in 8, I guess. So quite a bit.
Next game today on Wishlist. This, of course, one of Steven's top 3 picks from the PS5 reveal live stream is Jett, The Far Shore by Superbrothers in Quebec. You added it to your wish list, I believe, when we talked about it, but I didn't. So I'm going to be adding it to my wish list right now on Epic. And of course, you can do the same at home. Follow along. This was the weirdest trailer, my favorite trailer, I think, from the show. Jett, The Far Shore invites you on an interstellar expedition to carve out a future for people haunted by oblivion in this cinematic action adventure. The Epic page has some very nice screenshots. This is tonally and visually super different from Sword and Sorcery, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I'm here for it. I don't know. We don't really need to talk about. We talked about a bunch after the PS5 stream. It still says 2020 on the store page, and it's coming to PS5. Which maybe we'll have a wishlist feature, Steve. You don't know.
Maybe I want just the store. So what I realized the other day, that the Nintendo Switch actually has will show you games coming out in the future, like a lot of games.
Mm-hmm. And you can wishlist them.
Yeah, and I was just like, holy shit, Nintendo does something that Sony isn't doing. I was very taken back. I was like, that's so strange. Like
the tier list for online features is PC, Xbox, and then a bunch further down Nintendo, and then at the bottom it's like PlayStation.
Yeah, what is that? I don't shop on Xbox that much. What does Xbox do that you can't do on PlayStation and stuff? Can you
Game Pass? As far as an online experience. Game Pass,
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
The online experience on those platforms, Xbox Live goes down half the amount of time PlayStation does. Game Pass, the games with gold is essentially what PlayStation Plus is, and yeah, it's more competent.
What about PS Now?
PS Now sucks.
Burn.
Next game on wishlist this week. We've talked about it, but we haven't actually done it. I went back, checked all the wishlist this segments. Spinch from Queen Bee Games in PEI. Spinch is a tight and precise platformer with a bubbling psychedelic world full of misshaped and malformed enemies. Assume your true form as Spinch and use quick reflexes to dash, wall jump, and battle eccentric bosses on a quest to rescue your missing litter of offspring. I saw this game come up again during the Day of the Devs Summer Game Fest stream. Probably the only game we've talked about from PEI, at least I can think of in a while. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I can't think of it. I mean, there's only 100,000 people on that island, so
yeah. And 100 of them are Johnny McDonald statues. But,
hey, sorry, I should have asked because I already had a wish list, but Steven, was Jett the Far Shore on your wish list for Epic Game Store?
It absolutely is, Steve.
Okay, there you go. Play the sound. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. No, you got to do the thing that I do. But Spinch is exactly the kind of game for Steven. It's a tight 2D platforming puzzler, actiony. It's got gorgeous art style, and it just looks absurd and trippy. And I want to play it high. Like, I want to get really high and play this game.
I was going to say, take some drugs before you play this thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's these little like, you're a white orb thing with legs and arms, and then there's these tinier white orb things that are your litter, and you're trying to like collect them, but then you use them to fight the bosses. Like, you throw them at it like Pikmin style. So I don't know, kind of a toxic relationship this Spinch has with the little Spinches, but or maybe they are okay being used as ammunition.
Ammo.
But this game looks absurd, and I love it.
It is kind of like
Steam,
it's like a 2D
Switch. September 3rd, 2020.
I actually already have it on my wish list, so we might have talked about it before, or just like in news in general.
We've definitely talked about it, but I don't have it on mine yet, so I'm going to add it to my wish list.
There you go.
That's two Steven wish lists in one episode. I like that. Well, I guess they're both Steven wish lists, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and they have gifts on the page, on the Steam page.
Oh, their Steam page is tight, and the trailer is also very, very tight.
It is. Yeah, I'm not a big drug user, but I would probably want to like get pretty baked to play this thing. Like, this game is just so fucking trippy.
I love it. I'm here for it. That's it for Wishlist this week. If you want to get your game onto the segment, please get it to us. Email, Twitter, Discord, however you want. If it's developed in Canada or developed by Canadians. And even then, we're kind of iffy if it's like part of the team. Doesn't matter. Let's talk about it. All right, Steve. It's time for Hot Take of the Week. This was a bit of a discussion here between you and me, and we got some outside counsel on this, how we wanted to talk about all of the sexual assault and rape and abuse allegations coming out of the game industry this week. There's a Canadian angle here, as a lot of these are happening at Ubisoft studios in Montreal and Toronto. So that obviously is relative to our covering mandate of covering the games developed in Canada and the people who create them. If those people are being, allegedly huge pieces of shit, we should talk about that. And I think, as you said when I asked, like, should we talk about this, like, you believe it's important that this is something that people talk about and is part of the discussion around games just as much as the games themselves.
Yeah, I was a little torn in that the spirit of the site has always been just like, let's hype up some good shit that's made in our own backyard. Let's be proud of like the games that are created in Canada and the people and whatnot. And you'll notice that, I've never ever written about leaks or rumors, and like, unless there might be some odd times, but never leaks. I've had developers kind of reach out to me being like, can you not post about this because it wasn't supposed to come out? And I'm always happy to do that. But at the same time, I'm how the saying of like, all tide or high tide raises all ships. Like, I'm a believer that like this sort of stuff needs to be discussed at all angles by everyone. Whether like that's just sort of simply like liking a post on Instagram or retweeting something, or if you're donating money or whatever to all of these different things. I'm always the type of person that just wants to get that message out. So we kind of talked about like how we want to do and whatnot about this stuff, because it is, it's very heavily geared towards, there's a lot, it was all over the place. We were just talking last week about how there wasn't really...
this ties into our conversation about journalists, and like, we wouldn't say we're journalists per se, and the articles I'm going to reference today are from reports from around other gaming sites as we talk about it. But we're not reporting on this. We didn't reach out to any of the accused or accusers. We're just going to sort of have a discussion about what we think this means for the Canadian game dev scene.
Yeah, because we were saying like there wasn't a breaking point in terms of stuff that's happening at these studios or people, and us being like, well, Last of Us, like, Naughty Dog still crunched a lot, but we're still going to play Last of Us. But like, depending on how Ubisoft handled this, like, it would have been like, I don't know if like this dude, what's the guy's name? The Ubisoft, I forget his name.
So I'm going to start more broadly here before we dive into Ubisoft.
Sure.
It was kind of like this tidal wave, like across pretty much every country video game industry. And it reached out past that into like comics and comedy. Like every looked like community was having its own like Me Too big movement these past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So more broadly, I'm quoting from a Vice report here from Matthew Galt. A wave of sexual harassment accusations is sweeping the games industry. Twitch, Facebook, Ubisoft, Paradox Interactive, Cards Against Humanity, Techland, Gatto Studio, Bungie. All these studios are having people through Twitter and other platforms coming forward and accusing people in positions of leadership at these studios of assault, abuse, harassment, and rape in some cases, which is leading to a bunch of different actions from these companies. Twitch obviously just banned Dr. Disrespect, and it did not confirm whether it's based on the accusations. Cards Against Humanity fired the person who was accused there.
Oh yeah, one of the co-founders.
One of the co-founders. So they're all handling it differently. Ubisoft has released a statement saying it was just a paragraph. We take this seriously. We're looking at a separate company to do like an internal assessment, and yeah, it was pretty milquetoast and was pretty standard PR boilerplate stuff that got pretty much roasted by everyone who had been having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, we have a couple key players at Ubisoft who have been accused. I'm comfortable saying I believe the accusers in most of these cases. No one comes forward with these trying to get rich and famous. Like name any of the Bill Cosby accusers, name Gian Gomeshi's community. No one comes forward to like get a book deal for this. This is extremely painful.
Yeah.
It ruins in a lot of cases your ability to progress in these industries by proving to upper management that you're not willing to play ball with sexual harassers. And I'm pretty comfortable believing and saying that I believe these accusers in all these cases. So if anyone has an issue with that, you can take that up with me. But
I agree. I believe the victims every time.
And so let's go through some Ubisoft developers. Andrian Gaminji, who is the product and brand marketing manager at Ubisoft Toronto, accused of sexual harassment and assault and rape by several people on Twitter. And Stone Chin, who is another PR person, has been called out for quote-unquote predatory behavior. This is a report from Gama Sutra, who did some reporting on this. Then at Ubisoft Toronto, Vice Presidents Tommy Francois and Maxime Belland, who are now on paid leave from the studio, were accused of a lot of sexual harassment and abusive behavior. And Maxime Belland's wife works in HR at the studio, which a lot of the accusers brought up as we didn't even feel comfortable going to HR with this because not only does HR work for the company, but this HR in particular worked for the accuser, or not worked for, but like was married to the accuser. Yeah. And what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, no, exactly.
And the I don't want to say there's no good way to handle this, but Ashraf Ismail, creative director at Ubisoft Montreal on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we've been talking about on the site, someone literally posted receipts of Ashraf trying to engage in a sexual relationship, and the accuser said they did have a sexual relationship with, and only found out after that Ashraf was married and didn't disclose his marriage to the people he was having sexual relations with. This all has come out, and Ashraf has now stepped down from his role on the project and from Ubisoft and said, I don't want this and my mistakes to, tarnish this game that everyone else is working so hard on, and I need to get out of the conversation so that the other people here who are working so hard on it can keep doing that. I think that was probably the best approach.
Well, didn't he also say something about like he regrets like his family being hurt or something like that, and it's just like, bro, this was you though. Like you did it.
I tried to click the hyperlink here to his tweet, but this account no longer exists. So
yeah, true.
He released a statement saying, let's see if we can find.
I think I DM'd it, or I think I messaged it to you in Discord privately. So let me go back to see it. yeah, I mean, it's fucking incredibly disappointing to read all this shit. It's especially because it's like one dude doesn't make the game, right? Like Ubisoft or Assassin's Creed Valhalla probably has like 1,000 people working on it. So I think like
More than that.
yeah, like stepping down, like this dude should just get out, get out of the way, get you know, he obviously probably has to, do some stuff to help with his family and stuff for the pain that he's caused, and probably go through some counseling and shit of like why he did what he did, not to mention the people that he tangled up in this, that got involved unknowingly to basically commit adultery. And like
I found his quote if you want me to read it quick.
yeah, sure.
He said, quote, "I am stepping down from my beloved project to properly deal with the personal issues in my life. The lives of my family and my own are shattered. I am deeply sorry to everyone hurt in this." Which, Apology 101 is you say, "I am sorry for what I did to you." And he's saying, "I'm sorry you're hurt by this." Is, whatever. It's a little technicality, but definitely getting out of the picture was a good call. And I think a lot of these other people aren't going to, and unless Ubisoft makes them, probably will stay at Ubisoft.
Yeah. Was he the only one who's stepped down? Like, I know that Chris
He stepped
guy-
down, and the other two executives were put on leave. But everyone else, as far as I can tell, as of recording June 27th, 2020, are still in their jobs.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a fucking mess, man. Like, it's not hard to
not cheat or
to not cheat and
be
do
a piece
this
of shit.
Yeah. And like I saw the tweet or the text with this dude because like the girl saw a video of him like interview, and he had his wedding ring on, and he said like, "Oh, I just have that for my parents, so I'm not a disgrace to them." Blah blah blah. Like this guy's just a lying piece of shit. And it's always like kind of what we were just saying about like that, like the HR person about like doing this for 30 years. Like how many people has this guy like hurt and done this shit with until he got caught? And how many people didn't get promotions, and how many people didn't advance,
Didn't want to play ball.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fucking disappointing, and I'm glad people are kind of coming forward, because I was when the Zoe Quinn with the dude
Alcoholica on Night in the Woods.
Yeah, when that happened and the dude committed suicide, I was like really afraid that like people wouldn't come forward, because it's already a really fucking tough thing to do. I'm sure. Like you said, they're not doing it for fame or fortune. They're doing it because they see their names gain praises and all this shit, and then want to like just have to like make a statement. And you'll see some people tweet out being like, love to, sending my love to everyone who's come forward. I'm not ready yet to come forward with what I know or what's happened to me and stuff like that. And it's just, fuck, man, it's just like, it's super overly disappointing. Like, I don't know, like on a bigger scale, I don't know what to do. Like on a small scale, and with the people that I work with, like I'm always, and our DMs are open. Like I'm always available to assist in any capacity that I can assist with. Like we don't work for Ubisoft, but like, I mean, in any person that I know, like that I work with indirectly or directly or whatever. But like, what the fuck do we do about all these people who are in these management positions just taking advantage of people?
I think step one, we create a culture where calling out people, and I don't think it can happen under like a hierarchy like a lot of these big companies with like 10,000 employees. Like the culture will always be play ball with the people above you, or else you won't get to stay there. But I think as a community around those companies, create a culture where you elevate and believe people who talk about their experiences to the point where the company feels pressured to do something about it. And that's what happened this week with Ubisoft. And as far as these, like Andrian Gibinji, it was a tough Gibinji. I probably mispronounced his name. They go by Escoblades on Twitter. They had a statement within like 20 or 30 minutes. They were ready to go, and like they knew what they were doing was wrong. And then one day they could be outed, and they were ready. And like the holding pattern they were in, where like they're going to keep abusing and assaulting until they get called out, and then hopefully publish an apology and everything goes away. That comfortableness has to go away. And the conversation around Adrian in particular was tough because they're doing these Black game developer nights at Ubisoft that's promoting a culture of trying to increase diversity in the games industry, which is another issue along with this, that people of color in the game industry don't feel comfortable, feel like there's a path for them to go forward in their career. And he was doing something about that, while at the same time being being accused of rape at several conventions. And how do you reckon someone who does what's, I would say, an arguably important and good work, while at the same time in their personal life being an alleged rapist? Like, can you rectify? Can like both of those obviously exist at the same time? Does that take away from his other work? Should it just stop right now and they should just not be in the picture anymore? Probably that.
I mean, because this kind of comes up in the argument of like, you know, social media isn't like the court of law or whatever. Like, technically, what the one dude did, the guy who committed adultery, like, isn't illegal. Like, we saw tweets like replies like that where it's like, he didn't do anything illegal. Like, why is he being punished or whatever? And they're missing the point of that shit, obviously, where it's just like, it's not like what they've just done to their family or to their family, but like also what they've done to the person that they lied to, that they brought along this. Like, yeah, everything might have been consensual in terms of what they've done, but not in terms of like the situation surrounding it. I'm trying to read the Andrian guy's Medium post, and everyone just like is replying to it because he says like regarding the allegation, but the Medium post is like taken down or something, and everyone's just like chirping him for being such a shitty like post. So I wonder, did you read it beforehand? I didn't read it beforehand.
I read the first couple paragraphs, but the fact that it was posted so quickly to the accusation is what everyone's like, no way you write this big post in like a half an hour to an hour.
Yeah. I think I met this guy once, which
they were at a whole bunch of events, and the events are where a lot of the alleged assault and rape took place. So like, they were in the scene, and being high up at Ubisoft as a PR person, you have a lot of power over people who want, you know, to be a streamer or like a press contact with Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You are the kingmaker there, and that position of power was abused.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, these people just have like this power over people, and they use that to kind of get what they want. And it's just like, these things are always like so super unfortunate to read about, and it's just way too common. And I'm just like everyone, I'm just getting fucking tired of like hearing about it and seeing it in tech and video games and comic books and all these things. And it's just tiring. Like, what do we, like you said, we got to create a culture here, and I think we have a pretty like really good Discord and really good community of this, and we're always open, or at least like our DMs and stuff are always open to kind of have these conversations and be approachable to people. We're not doing it for like a scoop. Like, we would never do that. It's just more so like how to help. Like, but it's just like, it's like, this isn't enough to not buy Watch Dogs Legion, because Ubisoft, I think, is kind of making the right move in terms of just like letting these people go away from the project. The paid thing, I know people have like an issue with. I'm assuming that's just because it's part of their contract or something, that they have to like be on paid leave. But
we'll see what comes of this external investigation.
Yeah, and that's because that's always the thing too. Like, where, like, I've seen like there's been times where like investigations are kind of done and then they're finished because like the accuser didn't want to like say anything because they've already said their piece, and they don't have an obligation. Like, Ubisoft isn't like the police. They don't have the accusers don't have an obligation to talk to them about like what's happened. And so it's possible that, like, I think that happened to the Walking Dead, Talking Dead guy, where an ex-girlfriend of his came forward saying that he was like abusive, and then AMC did like their own investigation and didn't find anything because the girl didn't want to talk to them. And but that point, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I believe, I do always believe the accusers or the victims. But like, I'm also not running this like multi-million-dollar company, and have a contract with these people and stuff like that. It's
Multi-billion in Ubisoft's case.
Yeah, and it's just fuck, man. It's just like be better. Like, fuck, it's not hard to not do this shit.
With all the Ubisoft stuff, we saw Riot Games last year. All the female employees there won like a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because of the sexual harassment and assault going on at that studio.
Right, that was right.
I hope. Pardon? Yeah, Riot Games in
California.
Yeah, if all the Ubisoft developers, I hope someone's looking into this. We can collect these experiences and stories and turn it into a legal proceeding that forces Ubisoft, or at least gets some reparations for everyone affected by this toxic culture.
Yeah,
and money is all companies understand. Money is what determines everything that happens, especially at these bigger billion-dollar companies. So if they take a huge like $30 million hit to pay off to pay reparations to everyone affected by this, will change things internally so that doesn't happen again, or they should. And I think that would be the best chance at seeing any kind of change here, because it's not like shareholders don't care as long as this quarter's earnings are better than last quarter's earnings. They don't care what the culture is like at the studio.
Yeah.
If they take a huge hit because they have to keep paying out female developers who get assaulted, something will change.
Yeah, and I assume, because there isn't, like, the commonality here is Ubisoft, so I assume there could be a class action lawsuit about this stuff, because all these people belong to the same parent company. It's not like, but because like in general, when it was all these other things, there's not like an overarching like developers. What's the thing that you love so much that you want a union to like sue or whatever, right? But now there is like a group that they could kind of go after and get these things. It's just like always just so fucking disappointing. And I don't know. I wish there was more that we could do. Why did Dr. Disrespect get banned? I saw that last night and I was like,
they've been vague. There has been accusations against him in the past. There was the big, like, where he streamed from the bathroom at a convention. Yeah. Got a bunch of people on camera. And like, he's violated the Twitch terms of service so many times before that everyone's like, why ban him now?
Didn't this dude cheat on his wife too?
Yeah, he cheated on his wife, yeah.
I don't understand these people, man.
And I think the other thing about this and why a class action lawsuit might not happen is a lot of these stories I was reading this week are former Ubisoft developers, because you're only in a situation where you feel comfortable talking about it without getting shit on is when you're not there anymore and you don't plan on going back there because of how awful it was.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's just a huge shame.
Yeah, I think, and actually now that you say that, I think I saw something about how someone tweeted about who was part of that Riot thing, and she was part of the action, but because she didn't work for Riot anymore, she got like none of the money. Which again, it's not about the money per se. It's just about, I don't want to use that Joker quote, but it's like, it's just about like, sending a message. Like, it's about like, eventually there has to be a tipping point for all this stuff, right? And we were talking about that last week. That's just like, eventually, like, these people need to just be removed from the industry. I'm not against them coming back if they like get the help and the counseling and stuff that they need. I do believe that. Like, I do believe people deserve second chances and stuff, and correctional programs. Like, that's why we don't just fucking kill every single murderer. Like, we have correctional facilities that, obviously the system isn't perfect, but like, I'm not against that, but I am, these people do need help, and they shouldn't just be like kind of, put on leave and then just like come back like 2 months later or whatever.
Oh, they'll just get shuffled into a different executive position at a different studio.
Yeah.
Consulting agency or something.
Or just like a smaller, yeah, exactly. Which is a whole nother part. So I don't think we really solved anything here, and not that we were going to. I just wish there was more that we could do. I'm glad that Ubisoft did just sort of like scratch these guys off of currently what's going on. Obviously, their focus is Valhalla. It's going to be their biggest release ever. And so they just want, like, this dude was going to go on, like, probably had meetings and streams and stuff for the next, like, 3 months to go on, like, 50 different things to go on an interview. So they need to get a new person now. But yeah, it's incredibly disappointing. And you know, at least Ubisoft's kind of, I guess, doing fine-ish, and hopefully the real change is like you said, internally, like they put in the programs and stuff and safe spaces in place so that anything like this happens again, there's a way to know about it before someone tweets it and fucking shits all over your stupid studio.
And your HR isn't literally married to the CEO or top executive, or
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, that's so pea-brained to me. Like, what?
Yeah, that's
HR should always and be as far removed from anyone in the studio as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, huge kudos and props and bravo to all the people coming forward over the past couple weeks.
Yep.
And I admire you and your courage and all the shit you must be dealing with right now. Because oh man, and the Assassin's Creed guy in particular, like the fans of that series are so intense that this woman who accused Ashraf, Danny, and I don't even think you can say accused at this point because he admitted what he did, like who brought up what happened. She goes by Danny on Twitter, is just getting hate, man, from all these Assassin's Creed fans who are trying to defend Ashraf. And it's just like, that's the other reason I think no one comes forward to try and get credit, because you just get shit on for the rest of the time you're in the spotlight by all the fans of whoever you've brought up allegations against.
Oh, for sure. Like, if you go to Zoe Quinn's Twitter right now, I don't follow her. I'm not, like, I don't really even know. I didn't play any of her games or whatever. But, like, if I just go...
She has some good takes.
Does she?
Yeah, there's some good jokes.
Yeah, true. I don't really follow her, but, like, I'm sure you can find replies where it's just, like, about the guy who committed suicide and stuff like that.
Oh, every single post she ever makes is just half the replies are either about Gamergate, about Alcoholica, and that's just her life now. And I read her book a couple years ago, and, like, she's afraid to take pictures with people because the community dedicated to shitting on her will find them and then start to shit on them too.
Yeah. Like,
that's her life now. No one comes forward with allegations to become famous. No one.
Yeah, like, there's what did she tweet here? Oh, this was actually something about everything going on, but someone's like, how about your friend Robbie Rodriguez, which I'm guessing someone she accused of or something? I don't know. Yeah, I remember that time he killed a guy, the irony, the predator calls out predators, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's
toxic.
Yeah, no, and that's all.
We need to shut down social media for a couple of years.
Oh, man, if Twitter were to just fucking go away.
The world would probably be a better place for it. But then you also have to consider the other side of the conversation that is only happening on Twitter, you know?
That's true.
Like, Twitter is the avenue for this. It's a tool being used by people wronged, and it's being used as a tool to wrong people. And yeah, I don't know. We didn't solve anything here today. I think it's important to, at the very least, we've made people aware of this. And if you weren't aware before, you should be aware now. This is happening in games. This is happening in Ubisoft at Canadian studios by Canadian developers. And if you're ever in a situation where you see your male colleague make a joke, or you're at a work function and you see someone bothering somebody or being lewd, just fucking slap them on the back of the head. Pull them aside. Say, no, that's not okay. Be part of the culture change. Because, you know, there's that quote, like, all that's required for evil to succeed is for good people to do nothing. And if you like to think you're a good person, then you will be part of this change. And if you hear someone make a sexual joke at work or talk about an employee who's not there behind their back in, like, a sexual way at all, you just call them out right away. It'll make you uncomfortable. It'll make them uncomfortable. But that's what needs to happen. Yeah,
before, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but these guys recently did a talk with my work on discrimination and workplaces and stuff like that. It's called Get Real Movement. They're on Instagram. They just did, like, a workshop with my work on just there was someone who was trans talking about their story and all these things, and we even discussed, like, we talked about, like, what do you do if someone does make a joke and call someone a or something like that, like, what do what would people do? What do you think you should do? What would be the best way to go about it and stuff like that. It was really, really good. So I would, at the very least, just kind of give a shout out to some people here, like Gabrielle Movement on Instagram, and I'm sure they got like a website or something like that. But I just follow them on Instagram now. They did a workshop, and it might be something to kind of like look into, because I thought it was really, really good. Especially because, like, just for me, like, obviously I want to be better when it comes to this stuff, but I'm raising this tiny little human, and I want to make sure that she's kind of brought up in a way that protects her, but also protects the people she cares about, and stuff like that. So this is like something that's been on my mind for the last little bit. Not that it wasn't on my mind before, but more so geared towards like, how do I structure this mind to thinking like a proper way and stuff. So anyways.
I hope Sophia goes on to lead development on Assassin's Creed 35, and it's fucking awesome.
Oh man, Assassin's Creed 35 is like 4 years from now.
Yeah, that's true. They pump out like 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah,
I think I hope this conversation is just getting started, and it sucks that it had to get started, and it sucks that it's happening, but I'm hopeful, and I've read a lot of hopeful discourse this week from people who feel like this is different. Holly Green on Twitter, who has a personal story with Ubisoft that I won't get into, but people have been DMing them like, is this different this time? And they've said, yes, yeah, I feel like this is different this time, having seen it started and falter so many times before. And that made me hopeful too.
Holly who? Sorry?
Holly Green. I want to make sure I have that right. Yeah. At Winners Use Drugs on Twitter. I just noticed I've never seen that game before. Yeah. Follow them for also great discourse about this. And who's their icons, like a white background with like a person with like a stylized pink hair. They've been like, I'm not gonna find it, but they've been collecting and doing threads. Megan, hold on, Megan.
I'm not sure. I'm just going through our feed because I know we follow so many people that this stuff kind of just comes into our feed.
Yeah, I really want to find this person who's been doing this thread because they're going through collecting all these different threads. And
is it Jill Murray at disco_Jill? Kind of fits her.
I don't think so, but they also have been talking a lot about it.
Either way, shout out to Jill Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just there's been no like hashtag with a cool little picture next to it for this that is like collecting all this.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried all these stories are getting lost. And this person's been I passed it. I'll find it and put it in the show note, and I'll link to it. But they've been collecting all these stories and putting them in the threads, specifically by studios too, like Ubisoft, Certain Affinity, Activision.
IGN just had some stuff too.
Yeah, 2 former IGN editors.
Editor-in-chiefs.
Yeah, editor-in-chief, and now they're at their own consulting firm because that's what happens. You just get shuffled out and work somewhere else. I really want to find this person's name.
I can start going on and talking about the games that I've been playing if you want to try to find it.
I'll just throw it in the show notes. But right. Yeah, follow these people. All right, Steve, that's it for Hot Take of the Week. I hope this conversation continues, and I hope we start to see change. But let's talk about what we've been playing. We didn't do many streams this week. We actually did 0 streams this week. But next week, Steve's going to stream a Shiba Inu visual novel. I'm going to stream Pamela at the least. That'll happen next week. I have a couple other things we can stream too, but it's just it's a logistic thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned for 2 more streams this week. But what have you been playing this past week, Steve?
I'll save the Last of Us 2 because I know you've been playing that for the end. But I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends. So my wife and I kind of decided that Last of Us 2 is a little too violent to play around Sophia.
Makes sense.
Obviously, like there's the gun shooting stuff, but it's more the like blood and gore and violence and whatnot that I'm kind of like, I don't really need her to see me like knife a dude right in the throat. So I haven't had a chance to play too much Last of Us this much. So I played a lot of Apex Legends, enjoying the new like the timed event thing, just kind of working my way to the battle pass. This game it's pretty dope. It's really good. And thank you for getting me into this because I played a lot of Fallout, or sorry, I have played a lot of Fallout. I played a lot of Fortnite, but I think Apex Legends is kind of slowly like taking over for like best battle royale for me.
It is the best battle royale.
I think there's just times where it's like I feel like I am screwed when someone shoots me, and I would want something to kind of get away, but like the team aspect kind of gets around that, and like the different skills you have. So
and the characters, Steve, I love the characters.
Yeah, it is nice that like everyone like there's personality and stuff, and it's different. There's lore to it. It's not just like this bullshit.
Banana peel guy.
What I'd really want is like I love how Fortnite would throw in like PvE moments into the game, so I wouldn't mind like different events and stuff. And just
this is their 10-year game. Like they're opening a whole studio to work on this game. So the future for Apex is bright.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely going to be a game that evolves and stuff. So I'm getting close to unlocking the 8th character too, which is exciting because then I can get those trophies. So I started playing, or I platinumed Celeste. I did it on assist mode because
Game of the Year 2018.
Fuck the difficulty of that game. Like I saw some of these levels, I was like, "There's no way in hell I would do this shit."
Man,
so I got
some of those courses. They tell you your deaths at the end, and I was at like 1600, 1700.
No doubt. Especially the seaside stuff, and I was like, "This is bullshit," because it's like this is just one long level. So
yeah, yep. You have to do it all in one go.
Yeah, so I platinumed that. I still stand by, like, it's still a great game. Like the jumping is like tight. Like I beat it legit. It's just the extra shit. I think I did 1 or 2 B-side missions legit. Everything else I did assist mode. But yeah, I still stand by it. Where it's just like it's a great game, cool story, very heartwarming and whatnot. Very tight platforming, but it's just like
great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. The difficulty is just like it's just the wrong type of difficult for me.
I think that's the best critique of it I think I've heard you make. Yeah,
wrong type of difficulty.
Yeah, it's definitely because like it's difficulty is such a weird thing to talk about in games, and it comes up every time there's a new Souls-like game, and it's always like the difficulty question in games hits with people so many different ways. The Celeste difficulty hits with me in the perfect way, whereas the Souls-like difficulty doesn't really, and the Celeste difficulty hits with you in a not at all, whereas I think other games you would find difficult in a way you enjoy, I wouldn't.
Yeah, if I wasn't such an idiot with trophies, I might have just done the assist mode with like one extra jump, you know? And maybe just try to do more with that. But then by the time I beat the game, I was just like, no, I just want the platinum now. So I should say the assist mode does give you some flexibility, which is really cool in terms of like making it accessible. Like you can give yourself unlimited stamina and nothing else if you just want to if you just have trouble with climbing or whatever.
Yeah.
I started playing Hero Hunters, which is from Hothead Games over in Vancouver. It's a free-to-play mobile game, and it's like a kind of a Gears of War RPG. You have your team of dudes, and you hide behind like cover-based shooter and level up. I just started playing it. It's pretty fun. It's just like I like it when the free-to-play stuff is like simple, you know, like Matchland just has like premium currency and like chests. But like, there's so much shit in like in the Hero Hunters and Assassin's Creed, which I was playing more of, where it's just like, you know, you have loot boxes, you have different premium currencies, you have timed events, you have a lot of stuff, and it's just like it becomes like so much when you open it. But it's pretty fun. It's like I wish it was. Sometimes it's one of those games where I'm like, oh, I wish this was just like a PS4 game that I could just dive into every now and then because it's pretty robust, and it's like the only game they've worked on. Like I was looking at their.
Is it a big game to do well?
I think it's fairly new, so I think it's just their. It's Hothead, isn't it? Or
Hero Hunters?
Yeah.
It's on iOS because you're playing it.
Yeah.
So I could play it too, I guess. Hothead Games, yeah.
Yeah, Hothead Games.
Vancouver.
Yeah, and they worked on they did like Deathspank and stuff back in the day.
Wait a minute, do they have a Halifax studio?
Oh, do they?
Wait a minute, Steve. Because I'm on Glassdoor, so I get like job recommendations because like I've just never unsubscribed from that. And I recently got one for Hothead, unless that is the Vancouver one. But
their Wikipedia just says Vancouver.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't see anything about Halifax on it, but who
Yeah,
knows?
I think you're right.
Hero Hunters apparently came out in 2018, so it's just a game, and it's like their last game, so it's just a game they've been working on this whole time. So it's pretty fun.
Certified great place to work, Canada, BC, and a few other companies for like the past 2 years.
Nice job, Hothead.
Great work.
I was a big fan of the Penny Arcade games they did back in there too. So, and yeah, because I beat Matchland. I just need a new iOS game, really, and I'm kind of reluctant to get Apple Arcade. Just somewhat try to find a free one first. But
you should play the like you mean like first Matchland?
yeah.
Yeah, you should play it.
Oh wait, sorry. I mean the Matchland, like the
Cartoon Network one.
Cartoon Network one. Oh, because there's the OG one, right?
Yeah, because the Cartoon Network one is kind of like just a reskin of their first game.
What's the first one called?
The first one's just called Matchland, and actually the first one didn't have diagonal switching, and that was something they added to the second one. But when the second one blew up so much, people finding the first one, they actually updated the first one to have a lot of the same mechanics as the second one, and that update got me into the first one, whereas before I didn't like it after playing CN Matchland because of how much the diagonal changes things. Being able to
Matchland
swap.
Puzzle RPG, perfect. I'm going to download this.
That's
shit.
it. Yeah. That's
play the
another
thing.
Canadian game. What's the download one? It's just like that coin sound effect.
Yeah, I
can
think
do
so.
that.
Yeah. Well, it's I guess it's like a demo download, but this is just like a free to play game. So
Not a purchase, but not a wish list. It's
Yeah.
in between.
and I've been playing some Sega Genesis here and there, but Last of Us 2, which is all you put down.
That's all I played.
We were talking about before. I'm about a third of the way through.
You're on Seattle Day 2.
Yeah, really, like I'm loving it. Like it's
gorgeous.
I'm not hating on the story like a lot of people are. I can't tell if the people hating on the story are just like hating it because of like of Ellie and Abby and like the characters that they have, because I feel like I've seen from all sorts of directions where it's people like, oh, don't throw this, like, what's that stupid phrase that people use?
Forced diversity.
Forced diversity, but what's the snowflake wordy thing?
SJW?
Yeah, don't throw this SJW shit in my game. Then I see people who are like don't throw trans characters in games and then just like brutally murder them. And then other people being like, this game shouldn't even exist in the first place.
I agree with that one.
So I feel like I'm like, this game is just getting hate from like all directions. And
Critically, it's at like a 94 on Metacritic, and I hate review numbers, but if you just want to go off, like the critics love it.
yeah, I mean, and I think the players for the most part love the gameplay.
It's the fastest selling PS4 game, which just makes sense because there's like 120 million PS4s out there now.
Yeah.
But also just speaks to it's the fastest selling game of 2022, beating out Animal Crossing, which shattered the record earlier this year.
But people thought the leaks would kind of like take away from that, right? And that obviously.
If your game can be ruined by a couple story points, your game wasn't that strong to begin with.
I have a friend who didn't pick it up because he read the leaks and he's like, I don't like where the story went.
Your friend's an idiot.
And I agree, James, you're an idiot. And I messaged
You're an idiot,
him.
James.
I was just like, well, this is what's happened so far. And he was like, okay, just tell me more. And I was like, I'm like, dude, this is like probably one of the most polished games that will ever exist. Like, you should just play it. If you have any, like, it's really the story, like, just mute the story and listen to a podcast when there's shit, or skip
just
cutscenes.
skip every cinematic.
Yeah,
you
like-
don't have to watch it.
Like, the gameplay is solid. Like, Last of Us 1 wasn't a really great game just because it had a cool story. Like, the story is pretty, like, it's good. I actually won't like dumb it down, but it's basically The Road.
Yeah, or Country for Old Men, or whatever the other inspiration was.
Yeah, with a little bit of hope thrown in there, but and daddy love or whatever. But like, the gameplay of these games is what's awesome. Like, I love the crafting and stuff like that. Like, that's cool shit. One of the coolest things is I found like a bench, and then I was like working on my gun, and people attacked me, and I was like, wait, I didn't think you could do that here. Like, I thought
I know the
sick.
exact spot you're talking about.
It's in an apartment.
Yeah, you're in that apartment.
Yeah, because they come out of the other bedroom, and I was like, fuck you guys.
That level is awesome. Look at that. It's like this apartment building type thing. But there's two ways to get into that building. One of them is you climb up on top of the balcony and shatter a window.
Yeah.
And the other one is you go crawl through this like basement level window, and there's like a sound trap there with bottles. So both ways to get in the building set off a sound, like make a big sound. And that everyone's in a room that was previously locked, and they rush out at you once you're crafting.
Yeah.
And so like the levels in this game make so much sense, and that's what I love about it. Is like the only ways to get in this building create a lot of noise, which tells everyone you're coming, and they all hide in this room. You can go try the door, and it's locked, and she's like, "Oh, it's locked." If you don't go to craft, they don't attack you.
Oh, really?
Like if you don't turn your back to them and they don't hear you start crafting, they don't attack you.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's amazing. I love that interaction, and the game's littered with those interactions.
Yeah. So that's still pretty. I'm still pretty early on. I think we were talking about where I'm about a third of the way through, and that was shortly. I'm not too much farther than that. So I don't want to like we shouldn't really spoil that much more. But the game is great, and I have not seen the hate just yet. But you beat it, so
I just beat it last night. I think it was like 25 hours on my save file. And I totally agree with, and I've been just pouring over the discourse that I'd been like bookmarking the past week because I wanted to finish it first. And I'm with a lot of people on the same page that like, this is technologically extremely impressive. The detail in this game is unlike any other game I've played in a long time. It hit, if not surpassed, the Red Dead 2 attention to detail that made me fall in love with that game. In that regard, I think it's worth, like, if you just enjoy seeing what people can do with games, that it's worth playing this game alone, just for every single tiny detail, facial expression, offhand remark that just makes you chuckle a little bit, the tiny little details and everything, like you slide down a hill in like mud cakes to the back of your jeans, and then if you swim later, it starts to run down the back of your legs. I'm like, what? What? That took somebody months to figure out.
The rope puzzles are like so cool too. Like
the rope physics everyone's been talking about, the cloth physics in that game. I jumped into, and I tweeted it, I jumped into you know, the blinds that like are solid pieces of plastic, and there's a whole bunch of them, and you twist them to make them go flat.
Oh yeah.
I just got between those and started moving left and right, and they made the plastic sound that those blinds make. I was like, somebody spent a month just making this work and feel believable. And that detail, it's worth it alone. Play that if you just want to see that detail. From a story perspective, obviously I wouldn't spoil anything yet, give people a couple months to play this, but the story really lost me, and I really didn't like the inciting moment of this game, the conclusion of this game, and a lot of the major plot points felt out of character for Ellie, the Ellie I'd come to love, felt out of character for Joel, felt forced to create a conflict to have a story for a new game where one just wrapped up perfectly because they didn't know they were going to make a sequel. One is a perfect contained story that should end when it ends, and that ambiguous ending where she's like, tell me everything you told me about the Fireflies was true. Swear it to me. And he's like, I swear. And she just looks for a couple seconds. She's like, okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Last of Us Part 2 should have, if they needed to do it, had different characters in this world. They didn't do that, obviously. And so with digging up this perfectly concluded story means untangling a whole bunch of the things that wrapped up so nicely. And I feel like a lot of the end of this game to me is like out of character, in like Game of Thrones Season 8, Daenerys torching the whole town, Star Wars Episode 9, just changing a whole bunch of things about this world for the sake of having another movie. Like, oh, the Palpatine had clones of clones. Wow. Not obviously like dumb sci-fi like that, but a lot of like, just, we needed to make a conflict in a story here, so we did, and I wish they didn't. So, and that's like I'm like the polar opposites of my opinion on this game.
Interesting. I want to beat it. I need my.
It's so long, dude. It's so long.
Yeah, that's the other thing. My only really complaint about Last of Us 1 is like it just takes. It's just like an hour or two longer, and then you joked with me that this one is like 5 or 6 hours too long or whatever. Like
yeah.
And we were talking about there was this moment where you just kind of fall into the sewer, and it's just like a level for like 15-20 minutes, and then you just come out and it's whatever. It's just like that didn't need.
Could have cut all that.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean,
90% of this game is a really complicated way to get somewhere to watch a cutscene.
Yeah.
You're just zigzagging across Seattle to get to the next cutscene, and it's gorgeous. And I like the combat a lot. I get why people wouldn't like it. Like, it isn't the tightest third-person shooter I've ever played, and
you don't think so?
No, I don't think so, because I think it's meant to be sticky like that on purpose. Like, not sticky, like, it's hard to be really good at this game, like a lot of other shooters let you feel really good at it, because it's like a desperate clinging on to survival type feeling they're trying to put in you.
Yeah.
And some of the critiques I've read, they didn't like that, and they you know, you don't have to like that, and but I do like it a lot.
Yeah, I really don't have any complaints about the gameplay. I actually, I don't really have any complaints about the game in general. I'm kind of just waiting to see, you know, where all this hate is kind of coming from, because like I said, it just seems to be coming from every single point. Like, no one really seems to be happy about the plot of this. And you mentioned to me off the podcast that I'm getting pretty close to, like, your favorite kind of plot part of the game, I guess, is like the middle third. So
yeah, there's definitely a chunk of the game that just clicked for me, and Tori, I played through the whole game with my girlfriend Tori, and we both really loved this section.
Yeah, so I'm playing with like Heather as well, and she knows the spoilers. Like, she just kind of read it because she doesn't really care that much, and so, you know, she knows, like, she's like, okay, I've read like 3 or 4 major spoilers, and so far one of them has come true. And so she's like, I don't know what the other ones mean yet. So she just keeps like asking me, like, okay, have you, like, what did you do recently? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm here, and this just happened. And she's like, okay. And I was like, what are you doing? Just like expecting me stuff. But it's pretty, yeah. I mean, it's really, like, I'm just really enjoying it. But like, granted, yeah, I haven't beaten it yet, so I'm not feeling the hate. Though I will say, like, you and I kind of differed on sort of the start of this, and we've discussed that. I'm not really there. I see what you mean, but I kind of just disagree with like how some of this starts. I think just like the way the game starts, and just how the contrast of how the first one starts kind of like opens the differences. But you know, we probably shouldn't say like too much, because the drama behind this game is just so much. It's just fucking, it's so like, the how angry people are getting about this game and not getting angry about like the harassment shit that we just spoke about just says like pretty much a lot of things you need to know about this industry.
The fact that all the oxygen is being taken up just to talk about this game is just exhausting.
Yeah.
And the Neil Druckmann's being so cringy on Twitter, it's bothering. Like, a lot of these PlayStation guys, like Cory Barlog for God of War, they're just being so cringe on Twitter. They really need to stop. Just delete their Twitters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the way they were shitting on some of the journalists who were making fun of like the Schindler's List comparison that one critic made.
So I saw that, and it was I kind of know where he's coming from, because he's basically saying like, it's not fun to watch Schindler's List. Like, it's not a fun movie to watch because of what's going on. And sort of like, there's a lot of like gruesome, brutal shit in Last of Us, but he probably could have.
Okay, but counter offer, Steve. Schindler's List didn't come with a pre-order ammo upgrade bonus that lets you do all the uncomfortable shit even better.
No, I agree.
There's different. No Funko Pops for Anne Frank, you know? Like, it's a terrible comparison to make.
I agree. I know what, I see where he's coming from, and I don't know. I mean, Twitter is such a fucking awful place to express your point anyways. So what's Corey been saying? Looking at this thing.
Oh, Corey was like, when they were making
where's God of War 2, Corey? Come on.
Yeah. God of War 2 to 3 to 5. I'll do another 10 maybe.
Dad of War. Let's do this.
Anywho, that's enough of that. I'm okay we should do a little, like, I don't know, 20-minute spoiler cast when we both beat it, maybe at the end of an episode.
I'm done.
Okay. That's it
for
this
like
episode. Number 2. I'll give you a couple months. Like, it's okay. I'm going to stew on it for a bit. Watch some video essays.
Are you going to replay it?
I can do the platinum in one more playthrough, but it was so long, and I really just like binged it this week. Like, every day my girlfriend got home from work, we played for like maybe 4 or 5 hours.
I know. I asked you if you wanted to play Apex, and you're like, "Yeah, Last of Us." I'm like,
I'm playing Last of Us because I wanted to beat it before I had anything spoiled for me, and somehow I managed to beat this whole game without anything spoiled for me, and somehow I managed to predict a huge chunk of this game.
Play some Canadian games, man. What's the fucking website that you're podcasting for right now? Come on.
Yeah, well, we're playing. I'll play Pamela this week. You'll play Shiba Inu. And yeah, we'll get some other games into this segment next week.
All right, cool. Wrap it up.
But that's it for episode 148 of the CanadianGameDevs.com podcast. Thank you for listening. We've hit a pretty standard hour and a half to hour 40-minute runtime lately. We're getting in the groove, Steve.
Yeah, I like it.
Me too. And also, a huge thank you to our patrons. And I can't wait to hear what you think of our discussion today in the Discord. I've been enjoying chatting with you about everything we've been talking about. I enjoy it. I like talking about what we talk about. You know what I mean, Steve?
Yeah, for sure.
That's it for this episode. Thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/CanadianGameDevs. Again, you can back us for early access to the show, discount codes to events, game key giveaways, special channel on our Discord, as well as the undying knowledge. Undying knowledge. What does that mean? What am I saying? I get in the talking mode, and I just say a lot of words that don't make sense together.
Yeah, I got it.
Anyway, thanks to our patrons, Aaron McLeod, Elizabeth Avery, Hanel, Jean Leggett, Jeff Shepstone, Jeffrey Canham, Kai Hutchins, M5 Games, Nicholas A. Zorko, Nav from the Academy of Games, Pixelnauts_Alex, Slaughter Neko, check out Runtime Kickstarter, and Stacy H. Again, if you back us at higher than $1 a month, we'll put your name at the end of the credits. And thank you to all our supporters at any level. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. We'd love to take your feedback. If you don't listen on Apple, send us via email. Just contact@CanadianGameDevs.com works, or DM on Twitter, whatever you want to do. We'd love to get some feedback. Share it with someone you might think would enjoy this particular content.
Share it with someone who you think wouldn't even enjoy it. Just be like, here you go.
Share it with your mom who likes, growing herbs inside and watching home renovation shows. Like, hey, check out this Canadian Game Devs podcast.
Are you talking about my mom?
Does your mom do both those things?
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh. There's a stereotypical mom you can paint a picture of.
My mom is very love her to death, obviously, but my mom is very stereotypical mother. I mean, she raised 3 kids, so.
Does she have the Karen cut, like the speak to your manager cut?
She does, actually. She's not.
Oh no, Steve!
She's not that person, but she
has the cut.
Yeah, she has the cut.
Okay, like blonde highlights on black or brown hair.
Yeah, and sort of the I don't even know how it's called, but she has that cut of hair. She's 70, so she likes to kind of get her hair done and stuff like that. It's not as
awesome.
Pronounced as that, but she definitely gets it done and stuff. And it's a little bit of a Karen. But she's not a Karen because she worked at Walmart for 25 years, so she knows. She dealt with those fucking.
Oh, she knows.
Yeah, she knows.
My aunt's name is actually Karen, and but she's very, very progressive on the edge of that. She works in she helps kids and stuff and from broken homes and stuff. So the two Karen people looking and sounding people in our lives aren't acting like Karen. So I think that's good.
Nice job, Karen's mom.
All right, we'll round out saying follow at Canada Game Devs on Twitter, at Canadian Game Devs on Facebook and Instagram. Join our Discord for hanging out and chats. Lots of cool, interesting conversations happening this past week and about game development and not game development, and some cool people I enjoy talking to.
And a politics channel that is not toxic.
Not yet. We keep saying it. Eventually, we'll jinx it. But
yeah, no. Someday.
And then we just have to close it and just delete the whole Discord.
Someone's going to jump in there and just go yell mega and then just fucking ruin everything.
Then we just got to ban them. If you ironically or unironically say mega in our Discord, I'm just going to ban you. No problem with that. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Riley, StephanReilly. Steve, people can find you on Twitter at Stephen L. Crane.
Yep.
And then Stephen L. Crane 8 on
sometimes.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I think.
And TikTok, I think. I don't know.
And TikTok, but you don't post anything, so don't follow him there. Don't encourage him.
I just lurk. Do you want to make a Canadian Game Devs TikTok? Was I mentioning this last week and that's when you were
You did, and then I just talked over it, and I didn't realize till I re-listened to the podcast when it was on YouTube that I just talked over you.
You jerk. Canadian Game Devs TikTok. We should just do it.
We'd have to make specific vertical videos for it,
Yeah. Let me do it really shittily, and then when it doesn't work, you could just come in and just be like, okay, that's how you fucking do this shit.
I think I could see it whenever we're playing a Canadian game, we do from our phone, just a video of the screen, hey, this is this game from this developer in this part. It does this. I like this. And then that's quick, 30, 40 second impressions of Canadian games.
And then play the Gooba song over it and stuff.
The what? The Soviet anthem?
The 6ix9ine Gooba song or whatever.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's the one where it's there's a couple one. TikTok videos I do where it's just like, are you dumb or stupid or dumb, huh? And then the she's mad, you're mad, he's mad, I'm bad.
Yeah,
huh?
I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh, dude, that's all over the place. Are you even TikToking anymore?
My algorithm is finely tuned, Steve.
I have a mix of like heavy lesbian content, Naruto stuff, baby
Same
stuff,
thing.
and like teenagers just posting random shit.
TikTok's great. Everyone should get on TikTok. It's a wholesome way to end my day every day.
Yeah, I like it. I use it much more than just that at the end of the day. By the way, I'm watching a full playthrough of Kung Fu on NES. This brings back so many good memories. This game is so fucking dope. I sent it to you. You should Kung Fu on NES. Check it out. It's a great game.
All right, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Ta-ta.